The following is an EHC media production.
Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, do not check your dials, do not check your screens, because twice a week I'm going to be on your stream. That's right, I am Brian Green here, your host of When XT, normally bringing you the weekly who, what, when, where, why, how, and what's going on in the NXT universe and the Full Sail University, but I have been tasked with something new. I have been tasked with taking a look at the high-flying, magnificent, breathtaking action that takes place every Tuesday following SmackDown on 205 Live. Now, I needed a name for this show, and I was thinking, how can I incorporate 205 Live into a name? Should I try to do the show in 2 minutes and 5 seconds? Should I try to do the show live every week? What should I do? And then I just went to turn to wrestling names, and I landed on the Tope. You know, the Tope Suicida, the Tope Con Hilo, all these wonderful dives that these magnificent athletes do on a weekly basis. I just thought that the Tope would be a great name for it. I'm going to try to get in and out and run down 205 Live as quickly as possible. So without further ado, welcome to the first edition of the Tope on the RWT channel. Without further ado, let's get into this week's 205 Live. The date is May 9th, 2018, and the show opened with a video package this week. We had a lot of different promos here. This was interlaced with some pre-recorded voice promos from like an announcer. It was cut with some B-roll, and it was cut with some selfie promos that the wrestlers performing that evening cut. One annoying thing I did notice about the promos this week is how scripted these guys are. It's very apparent with how they are scripted in their promo that one person is writing for all of them. For example, the Brian Kendrick spoke in this video package, and he said that Jack Gallagher and he are out to prove that they're the most dangerous team on 205 Live. The announcer then says that Tony Nese is looking to prove that he's still the premier athlete. Mustafa Ali said to Buddy Murphy that tonight I proved to the world that it was no mistake and I beat you again. Buddy Murphy said that tonight I proved to you and to everyone that I am the juggernaut of this division. Now, if everyone has something to prove, then that makes at least 50% of these people on this roster a liar. Either that or a complete failure. But the point in all this is that all these wrestlers should not have one voice. I can imagine one writer saying the script word for word as they went through all the different camera cuts. It just sounds like one person speaking on a lot of different points. I really hate to say this because this was unique. This was fresh, had a lot of new elements in it that I haven't seen, utilizing pre-recorded messages and B-rolls and promos from the wrestlers. I think this is a really interesting way to get you interested in what the wrestlers are going to be going through for the evening. However, we need more original substance so they all don't sound like robots. All in all, I did like this mostly. So the show opened with a tag team match. There is a new Lucha stable, if you haven't heard of them. Lucha House Party, being led by Kalisto, comprised of Lince Dorado and Gran Metalik. They are taking on the Brian Kendrick and Gentleman Jack Gallagher. Lince Dorado and Jack start the match, and they clown around, and they're trying to get the crowd hyped here, but mainly they're just clowning around in the opening moments. Lince Dorado brings Jack Gallagher down to the mat, gets him trapped in a head scissors, and he's trying to do a handstand, whatever it takes to get out of this head scissors, and as he's doing the headstand, Lince Dorado smacks him on the ass, and he then stands up and gets out of the hold. They then roll around and trade pins, one of which initiated from a Dragon Rana-like head scissors. And this got silly after a while. They would roll around the ring and one. Like, it was getting old real quick. Gran Metalik gets the tag, and he injects some excitement into this match with a unique springboard off the bottom rope. He bounced off the bottom rope inside of the ring to hit a drop kick in the center of the ring. He did a swanton bomb-like dive outside of the ring to take out the newly tagged Brian Kendrick and Gentleman Jack Gallagher. Now, Grand Metalik didn't know that Brian Kendrick got the blind tag, so he's blindsided from behind and then gets taken advantage of by the heels. Jack Gallagher tags in and begins the joint manipulation on Grand Metalik. This cuts the ring off. They make things miserable for Metalik here as they just torture him with their frequent tags and the ground game here. They play keep away from Lince Dorado, and they abuse Grand Metalik until he's finally able to get the tag to Lince. Lince Hurricanrana's Brian Kendrick with authority. Didn't even roll all the way over, Kendrick did. Looked like he slammed his face down onto the mat. Lince's flurry of offense here helped sway the match back in the favor of Lucha House Party. They hit stereo super kicks to the heels, and they sent them outside of the ring. They hit simultaneous dives on the far side. Dorado and Gentleman Jack Gallagher are legal here, and Lince eventually rolls him back in the ring and hits a beautiful shooting star press for the pin. Now, throughout this match, Drew Gulak came out on commentary and was just badgering and really downplaying the high-flying ability of everyone in this match when they went for a maneuver, and he was praising the technical wrestling, denouncing the high-flying tactics of the House Party as this match went on. As the Lucha House Party won, they stood at the top rope, taunting Drew, who just sat there looking so disgusted at what he just watched. One funny line on commentary is that Drew Gulak asked Percy Watson, "Hey, what's your word for the hour here?" Obviously taking a dig at Percy, confusing him for Jonathan Coachman. Is that racist? I don't know. It was funny. So there was this backstage vignette of Mustafa Ali saying that if Buddy Murphy didn't move, he was going to make him. Now, this vignette was set in front of a train track sort of deal or whatever, and I thought that Mustafa was going to say, "If he don't move, bitch, get out the way." But nothing like that. So Buddy Murphy is then interviewed and says that he's going to correct the only blemish on his 205 Live record by beating Ali tonight and getting his win back. Up next, ultimately, we have a squash match between the premier athlete, Tony Nese, and Ethan Page, who I don't know too much about, but notable that some people do recognize him. Ethan Page was given the name of Keith Clayball here as he stood in the ring, playing the role of jobber, waiting for Tony Nese to get done, counting his abs, and finally making his way into the ring. Tony Nese is a very, very impressive looking man. He's stacked, he has very full muscles, and what he can do in the ring is phenomenal. I don't know why they don't use Tony Nese more. Just looking at these guys, if you didn't tell me how much they weighed, I would believe that they could mix it up with anyone on Raw and SmackDown. Imagine Tony Nese versus AJ Styles. I mean, if you're not familiar with Tony Nese, then you wouldn't have that desire for the match that I have, but Tony Nese can go. He is built like a heavyweight. He moves like a cruiserweight. So Tony Nese initially talks a lot of trash while walking down to the ring, counting his abs. That's his usual spot. He says that 205 Live is his spotlight. And like I said, he ultimately squashes this guy. He throws him into the corner hard, and this guy just kind of bounces as he gets tossed into the turnbuckle and just beat down here. Tony Nese runs the ropes. He throws Keith Clayball off the ropes as well. Takes him down with some fast running body blocks, about 2 or 3 of these. He then set him up into the tree of woe, and he got down and did those bicycle kicks, sit-ups, those crunches that buff people do. And he was kicking this guy as he mocked him doing this workout at the same time when he was in the tree of woe. Really interesting spot there. I thought that Tony Nese was trying to be a babyface, but he was doing a lot of heel tactics, and heel cockiness was shining throughout here. He threw Keith Clayball out of the ring. He slid out and nailed him with a fast forearm. He used the momentum from the slide under the bottom rope to continue on and just follow through with that forearm. He rolled Keith Clayball back in the ring. I just love saying that name. He set him up in the corner, sitting down. He ran the ropes and hit the running knees. The running knee strike into the corner with the knee pad exposed for the victory. So, squash match for Tony Nese here tells me that they are trying to invest some more time into him. They are trying to rehab him. He suffered a loss to his former partner, Drew Gulak, about a week ago or 2 weeks ago or so. And hopefully he is on the uprise because we need some more believable talent on 205 Live to carry that banner. I'm happy that Cedric Alexander is a champion now because he withstood so many bad times in 205 Live. He was there when it begun. He was there when he got passed up many, many times. He was there during the Enzo reign of terror when he had to job out to that guy a few times. So to have him as one of the staples for this division is great. And let's talk about the second babyface who I believe is a great staple to this 205 Live roster. That being Mustafa Ali as he takes on Buddy Murphy in the main event coming up next. But before I get there, next week the UK division will be mixing it up with 205 Live's roster. This is where General Manager Drake Maverick and Cedric Alexander are backstage, and he says that he will let Buddy Murphy have his time in his match tonight with Mustafa Ali. He's not going to interfere and cause a brawl. But he is not promising anything else next time these guys meet up. So that's the feud right now. Buddy Murphy and Cedric Alexander, two of the biggest guys on the 205 Live roster who I believe are not under 205 pounds at all. Just go look at these guys. So Cedric challenges the UK talent to step it up next week and also sends a little bit of a dig at Buddy Murphy as well. So to get to the main event here, Mustafa has fully adopted his WrestleMania entrance. Has the Tron-like setup with some EDM-like mask with some LED lights all over it. And he has some portal-like light flashing out of the palm of his hand. He looks very futuristic and high-tech, and he did not have this before. Even his theme song has a little bit more of a techno, electronic, synthesized element to it. He doesn't need all this. It looks great, but Mustafa Ali is a very talented competitor. His promos are very encapsulating. He's very great with his words. He's very articulate. And the way he sets himself up in his promos and these different backdrops and things like that, he fully has my attention. So for him to have a flashy entrance, it's not necessary, but I appreciate the effort, brother. So the match starts with a hard chop from Mustafa Ali, and he kept hitting these hard chops, and it just seemed to anger Buddy Murphy, who had the size advantage here. Buddy Murphy would counter Hurricane Ranas with threats of power bombs. Ali would dip down to try to get him over for the Hurricane Rana, but Buddy would catch him up in the power bomb position. Lucky enough for Ali, he was able to jump out of it and escape the technical knockout that the gentleman last week suffered after being power bombed brutally by Buddy Murphy. If you missed it, Buddy Murphy legit knocked out a dude last week with these power bombs. So lucky that Mustafa Ali dodged that quickly. Mustafa Ali sends Buddy Murphy outside in front of the announcer's desk. He baseball slides him into it with a low drop kick. And then, as he gets outside of the ring to deliver some more offense to Buddy Murphy catches him and he hits a really nasty running suplex in front of the table. And the crunch of these two men's bodies hitting the announce floor, it was very apparent that damage was also done to Buddy Murphy in this process. And there was a great line from Nigel here saying that you have to inflict some damage on yourself, sometimes to hurt your opponent even more. To speak more on commentary, I like Vic Fuentes. So the commentary team on 205 Live is Vic Fuentes, this new Jack, along with Percy Watson and Nigel McGuinness, two of the NXT commentary team. So yay, they're here on 205 with me. During the replay, he emphasizes the impact of the suplex by saying boom right when they hit the floor. And he's enthusiastic. He sounds like a fan. He's assertive, but he's not annoying. He mixes well with a strong, well-informed voice like Nigel McGuinness, and Vic Fuentes is always logical and he knows his stuff, and I like that. So as the match is proceeding, Cedric Alexander is watching backstage. Buddy Murphy has Mustafa Ali seated in the middle of the ring, and he hits a few soccer kicks right between the shoulder blades of Mustafa Ali a few times. He tries to go for it again, but he drops down and hits a rear chin lock, using some psychological offense here. When Mustafa was expecting another kick, he got trapped in a rest hold. Wonderful. Mustafa Ali gets out of this predicament with a jawbreaker, and he reverses a back suplex to flip over and land on his feet. They both then run the ropes opposite one another and hit the old double crossbody spot where they knock each other out. They collided in midair. It looks like their bodies were trying to wrap around one another. This was very impressive looking, but it seemed like it hurt. I don't know how you protect your ribs from another set of human ribs like that. That was sick. I love watching Mustafa Ali matches. He has been on quite the roll up until this point. His run towards WrestleMania in that Cruiserweight Championship match he had was great. The development in his character, the strength in his promos, the strength in his in-ring game has always been there, even when he was brought in as a heel when 205 Live first began. The string of victories made between when he first got the contendership and the match at WrestleMania, it made you take him seriously. He is the 1B babyface on 205. So the match goes on here, and Mustafa Ali continues the fast, quick-hitting pace, taking down Buddy Murphy with running shoulder blocks. He gets out on the apron, and he jumps and rolls in the ring, tries to spring to his feet to hit a jumping DDT, but he gets caught with a sleeper hold that Buddy Murphy cinches in. He holds on to the hair. He shows desperation and grittiness in trying to impose his big frame on Mustafa Ali here, doing whatever he can to stay latched into the submission until he is sidestepped into the corner, gets the hold broken here. And turnabout is fair play as Mustafa Ali jumps on the back of Buddy Murphy and locks in his own sleeper hold. And this one seems a little bit more effective because it brings Buddy Murphy down to his feet. And he looks like he's going to pass out here, but he hangs on. And with Mustafa Ali being unable to be shaken off of his back, Buddy Murphy runs as fast as he can into the corner. He hits a cannonball-like maneuver into the corner with Mustafa Ali on him, a sick collision to get out of such a damaging submission hold. And this was great innovation with a great, nasty-looking result. Buddy Murphy then just kind of lost it here and just began to kick and slap at Mustafa Ali as he held his hand and was just fatigued on the mat, nearly a pile of man. And he ate a forearm on the jaw for his cockiness, Buddy Murphy did. And here comes Mustafa Ali. He's fighting, he's scratching, he's clawing. He's got these forearms he's throwing at Buddy Murphy. There's a nice hope spot here until he just runs out of energy and Buddy Murphy strikes back and takes him down. Buddy Murphy is on the outside of the ring after he's trying to go on offense here and get the upper hand of Mustafa Ali. He ends up on the outside and ends up draped across the second rope, much like how Randy Orton sets up his opponents for that signature DDT. However, what Mustafa Ali does here is he head scissors, he flips on the head of Buddy Murphy somehow and hits a tornado DDT out of a Hurricanrana setup, and he took this signature spot and turned it into such a spectacle. I had a big hard time right now just describing that move. It was just, wow, they really tore it up here. They put everything out there in the middle of the ring. And I love the scientific commentary that came from Nigel at this point. I love that I get to follow his analyst here on 205 Live. He said that the way that Buddy Murphy's hips were on the rope, it allowed more of his weight to come down on his head when he got dropped for the DDT. And it sounded good to me. I don't know shit about wrestling. You could have had me fool. Make these moves sound fatal. Give these guys more impactful sounding maneuvers and help explain to the viewer what's going on, even though it looks nasty enough for us to get the picture. Anywho, Buddy Murphy is placed on the top rope for a suplex, and Nigel says that Mustafa Ali needs to get his hips lower than Buddy Murphy to successfully pull off the suplex, especially because of his smaller size. Buddy Murphy counters by suplexing Ali off the rope with a front suplex of his own. He then kicks Mustafa Ali in the face, and as Mustafa Ali rises up for the kick, Buddy Murphy brings a hard knee to the face of Mustafa Ali, just knocked him out with that. He then got Mustafa up for a crucifix bomb, then sat out, turned it into like a flatliner DDT-like maneuver for a great near fall. And the crowd is applauding the effort here, and it's always great to see the crowd getting behind the 205 Live main event, especially after sitting through about 2 hours of SmackDown. So Cedric Alexander is still looking on backstage, anxious, rooting for his friend. There's a quick jackknife pin from Mustafa Ali for almost a psych-out-like pinfall here, but he doesn't get it. Buddy Murphy is pissed at this, and he ain't having it. He hits 3 hard power bombs in succession, the same power bombs that took out the jobber last week, for lack of a better term. Mustafa sold the third one in a very scary way. He bulged his eyes out. He held his arms out as if he was knocked out and stiff as a board, but he is able to communicate well enough for the referee to continue the match. Buddy Murphy goes for a 4th powerbomb, and he gets countered here. Mustafa Ali hits a face buster that drops Buddy Murphy on the top of his head out of nowhere for a dramatic near fall. These two really left it out in the ring here, especially Ali, as he always does in all of his big matches. I'm a big fan of his, and Buddy Murphy really has shown that he can be quite the talent as of late, going from being no one in NXT after his split with the Wesley Blake tag team, and hey, he's dating Alexa Bliss, so he's not doing too bad for himself right now, but to see himself earn a prime spot here on 205 Live and being able to deliver in a main event, that's a great spot for him to be in. So the match winds down. Mustafa Ali sets up Buddy Murphy on the top turnbuckle. He turns him outward, and he looks like he's going to try to Hurricane Karana this guy from the top rope, aiming through the announce desk. Buddy Murphy pushes him off the top rope, and Mustafa Ali backflips off the top rope to the outside, landing on his feet. Wow, how do you land on your feet from that high of a distance of a backflip? I can't do one backflip. I don't know how you land 20 feet. Not 20 feet, that's probably being too dramatic, but 10 feet or so, give or take some feet, and land on the outside. He's not done there. As he lands, Buddy Murphy tries to catch him with a surprise dive. Mustafa sees it coming and hits a super kick. He rolls Buddy Murphy back in the ring for a 2 count, but Buddy Murphy caught the rope with his foot to break the pin. Nigel and Percy on commentary speak on the fatigue causing Mustafa Ali to make a mistake for not dragging Buddy Murphy to the center of the ring. Surely if he got away from the ropes, that would have been it. That was a phenomenal sequence out there. Mustafa Ali then goes for a 450 splash because Buddy Murphy is holding on to the rope with his arm. In their previous match 2 months ago, Mustafa Ali hit this 450 to Buddy Murphy's arm as Buddy Murphy was holding on to the top rope. Tried to repeat history here, but he was not successful. He misses the 450 splash, and Buddy Murphy begins to target the arm of Mustafa Ali, turnabout being fair play again. Mustafa Ali is able to get away and goes for a tornado DDT off the turnbuckle. He is caught here, and Buddy Murphy then hammerlocks the injured arm between, his body as Mustafa Ali is being held like a baby, getting caught with his torpedo DDT attempt. He then drops him and then tosses him into the turnbuckle, shoulder first, to finish the job on the arm here. Then Buddy Murphy pump handles Mustafa Ali upward, swings around, hits the Murphy's Law, which is the swinging pump handle slam, for the 3 count, and this was a fantastic match, an instant classic, and these two had great chemistry, and they produced an A-grade main event here. I enjoyed this edition of 205 Live. I love what Triple H is doing with the show since he's taken over. It's really moving towards a product that is more focused on in-ring competition. I sort of dragged my feet getting to the show this particular evening, but when I watched it, I just couldn't look away. And I hope that's the impression that they give me every week. Some of the promo stuff is a little bit hokey, a little bit corny. Some of these cruiserweights are not known for their promo ability, which is fine. I'm not watching wrestling to hear them talk. I'm watching wrestling for the in-ring product, so maybe they should give less of the talking and more of the wrestling. What a concept. But I'm going to try to wrap it up here early for the first edition of The Tope. I've been your host, Brian Green, going to try to bring some more excitement to the RWT channel with this new show. We're going to try to speed it up next time, make it a little bit quicker to complement the quick, fast-hitting style of the cruiserweights here on 205 Live. So that's it for the first edition of The Tope. My name is Brian Green. I will catch you guys next time. Adios.